So what does that mean? It means people are looking for belonging, which I get. I mean, I look for belonging. I've got all my different communities of people that I hang out with, from my marketing friends to my gardening friends to my e-learning friends, my WordPress nerd friends. I got all these communities, right? And it's just how the world works. And some are in person, some are online, and some are a hybrid. And sometimes community can be part of the product as well, or part of the membership.
I have been talking so much about how to increase your email list and grow those leads, fill that pipeline lately. Honestly, I don't shut up about it. I'm probably annoying you at this point. Between my lead magnet workshop and my nonstop blabbering about the power of virtual events and selling one-to-one service offerings, I need to shush her tins, but I'll start that tomorrow. Today, I am sharing my interview with Chris Badgett, the CEO and co-founder of LifterLMS, a learning management system for WordPress. So, today, you are going to be a fly on the wall in my conversation with Chris, where he's going to teach me all about how you can increase your leads through free courses. All right, stay tuned. We're going to dive into it. And you know I love teaching people, so the idea of generating leads through free courses is kind of completely 100%, not a little bit, but a lot of bit up my alley. All right, stay tuned. Why don't you introduce yourself to the audience, everyone?
So I live on a little organic farm on the coast of Maine. Before I got into the internet, I used to run sled dogs in Alaska for a decade. I've built an agency building websites for clients up to 14 employees, and then I transitioned to becoming a software company with LifterLMS, which helps people launch online courses and training-based membership sites. And my mission is to lift up others through learning, and it's my personal mission and my company mission. So that's me.
That is a wild ride right there.
Okay.
Now, I can see how the naturey version of who you are with the Alaska sled dogs and how that goes into moving onto an organic farm. How did you end up with this mission?
Well, I guess I started when I got really into leadership, because I managed a sled dog tour business on a glacier you could only get to by helicopter.
That's crazy.
There was a couple hundred dogs up there, 30 team members. And I got really obsessed with leadership and management and figuring all that out, because I had no background in any of that. And I wanted to start a blog about that later, because it was just one of my passions. So I went to YouTube. I looked for a video on how to make a website. And that's when I discovered WordPress. And I launched my first website in a day. And that was the beginning of my journey into tech. Later, people started asking me to build websites. And after I left Alaska, I started creating organic gardening and permaculture courses with experts around the world and bringing parts of that industry online. And that's where I got my course creation experience. And then when I found there wasn't a great tool in WordPress to do what I was trying to do, I built one. So that's kind of how those two worlds collide.
That is cool. I can see when I was on your show, we talked about my origin story. Now I get to hear yours. That is really cool. I mean, when you decided you wanted to learn how to build a website, you weren't playing around. You didn't start with something like Wix or Squarespace. You went straight to WordPress, where you need to actually have some design prowess.
I'm not a designer, and it was a long time ago. This is 2008. I'm not sure if those tools were around, but I just kind of went with the first YouTube tutorial I found. And I think I just kind of had a knack for tinkering. And I was right at that perfect point where WordPress became a tool that non-developers could use it, like people like me who didn't write code. So that's how I got in there.
Yeah, now it can be like very complicated on WordPress. But I do remember 2008 version of WordPress because I had a blog on there, and it was easier than They probably still have that version, but the one that everyone uses today.
Yeah, I mean, it can get infinitely complicated. It's very flexible, but it can get complicated.
Hey there, fellow entrepreneurs and B2B marketers. Before we dive back into the conversation, let me introduce you to a game changer in the lead generation arena, Lead Feeder. Now, we all know the struggle of identifying those elusive website visitors and turning them into valuable leads. But what if I told you there's a tool that not only promises, but delivers on supercharging your lead generation and sales efforts? Enter Lead Feeder. Imagine having the power to identify companies visiting your website, track their behavior in real time, and seamlessly integrate it all with your CRM. Lead Feeder is not just a tool, it's your secret weapon for efficient and targeted lead engagement. What sets Lead Feeder apart? It's the ability to provide detailed insights into visitor behavior, helping your sales team prioritize efforts and close deals faster. With customizable notifications, lead scoring, and GDPR compliance, Lead Feeder is changing the game. Ready to revolutionize your approach to leads and deals? Head over to leadfeeder.com for your free demo today. That's LEADFEEDER.com. Don't miss out on the future of successful lead generation with Lead Feeder. So your people are course creators. I want to dig into that. The thing that you mentioned in your application that my eyes widened and I wanted to hear more about instantly was how to get leads through free courses. Can you tell me your process with that?
Well, I really discovered it as a software company. When you're trying to sell to them, they want to know how the tool works. I mean, there's different types of buyers. There's, logical buyers, emotional buyers, people who just want to get it in their hands and use it. There's all kinds of different styles of marketing and selling. But particularly for the people that want to just see how it works before they invest their time and money, I realized I wanted to create content for that. And I also realized at the same time, the exact same asset could be used to onboard new customers. So I get to create something that can do double duty, which is awesome, especially for a tiny company without a lot of resources. So that's where I came up with the idea of a quick start course. So a mini course that's like less than 30 minutes of content. The way I think about that is it's a course that basically shows 5% of whatever the offer is, but it's the most important 5% to get people to a result quickly. And you omit a lot of things that don't go in it. So our quick start course, I have an email list I've grown over the past 8.5 years with the software company to around 75,000 people. And about half of those came in through the free course. And that's not even including taking the same videos that are in that course, putting that on YouTube as a playlist, which also has tons of views. I get about 100 hours of watch time a week of not just on those videos, but on all our videos. We have 1,000 videos now, which sounds crazy. I also put that course for free on Udemy and got a ton of leads from Udemy as well. And I didn't even track that. There was probably 30,000 people in the course over there too. So
you didn't even track that when you had 30,000?
Something like that. But it eventually they actually took it down off Udemy because I didn't update it and keep it current. And I just kind of got busy. I got a little overwhelmed with all the stuff that we do. So now it's just on our site, but we recently just updated the version of it. But for those of you out there who are wanting to create lead magnets, I personally like to have a little portfolio of lead magnets. So if there's like a mini course concept that you can come up with that helps people get a mini result in advance of asking for the sale or to buy your stuff, I think is really important part of your lead magnet portfolio.
So you mentioned a little bit about distribution, because anytime I hear leads, I'm like, how do we get people seeing the offer? Yeah. So you used Udemy. I only ever read it. I never say it out loud, so it feels weird coming off of out of my mouth. How else did you get people seeing the lead offer? Because, I mean, you said 75,000 people on your email list through this offer, or is that total?
About half of them came through this offer. So around 30,000.
That's a lot.
That's not counting the people on Udemy or the YouTube. And then also I've got one more distribution channel, which is, and this is something unique to me with our software. It actually installs the course if people want to have it on their website so they can use it as a resource and stuff like that. So the software is also installing the course all over the internet as well, which is kind of crazy to think about. So
does it gate for you then?
At that point, we already have their email address if they're using our software. So it's more just a one-click thing, but that's more of a geeky software thing. So, and then also just in terms of getting traffic to it, we have a little academy on our website that actually has a bunch of free courses on it and some other paid courses, but we just treat it like any normal lead magnet. It's linked to sometimes in some of our email signatures. It's in the main menu as an option on the website to find it. We talk about it on social media when somebody's like, oh, I'm trying to figure out how to create a course with WordPress. I'm like, well, here's a free course on how to do it. So particularly if you find somebody is asking you, or lots of people are asking you the same thing, and it takes you a while to really give the value to explain it, that might be an area where you can create a course to basically automate yourself. Because I've taught so many people how to use WordPress, how to use Lifter and do other things, that when I find myself doing it over and over, I try to either create a video or create a more in-depth course.
That's smart. So a lot of your traffic is coming probably organically, and then they see the free course available. And so they're real quick to give you that email to get access to the free courses. You mentioned finding these hand raisers online and answering their questions with your course. Do you have any sort of strategy to being alerted when someone's raising their hand like that, asking a question that makes sense for you?
I was clocking it in Quora for a while. So Quora would send you notifications. There's certain hashtags on Twitter and stuff. Just searches for the phrase create an online course. Probably the biggest thing though is, and you were on our show and we talked about it, how you time box social media. I have the same strategy. And I get in there regularly. I have a Facebook group with almost 10,000 people in it, course creators and WordPress pros. And the way I built that is one conversation over time over 9 years. So but I don't spend all day on social media. It's a tool for marketing and also to create real parts of real relationships. But I have certain groups where that kind of topic comes up all the time, either in my group or I'm probably in 200 Facebook groups that have something to do with creating courses, online coaching, WordPress, membership sites, all that stuff. That's kind of my scene. So I'm just an active participant.
That makes sense. So you don't have to seek them out necessarily organically. You could be a part of those groups, search the questions, the keywords that you would find in those questions, and then just go through during your time batching session and answer those questions. It doesn't.
And even if it's super old, like an old thread in a Facebook group, I'll still answer it and I'll pull it right back up to the top, and new people start getting on there. It just happens.
Yeah, that makes sense. When I was on your show earlier, for people listening, we happened to record the same day, and it was kind of a coincidence. I was talking about how I make sure to engage twice a day. I just set a timer, so I'm engaging with people. But one thing that I do to make sure that I'm showing up in the feeds of the people that I actually sell to is doing the searches for posts, content that people have written where their questions might come up. So I can actually be relevant and I'm not just scrolling the feeds hoping for the best.
Right. And I spent a lot of time also friending people that I know I'll probably never meet in person, but are definitely in my target market and audience. And then once you're connected, then your stuff shows up more, and, or if they ask the question later, they show up more easily in the algorithm.
How do you approach those conversations so it doesn't feel salesy?
Well, I always come from a place of service, so I never direct sell on social media or slide into the DMs with a pitch or anything like that. I hate that stuff.
DMs.
Because I get a million of over aggressive social media pitches and emails every day. But I just look at it as somebody has a question and I genuinely answer it. And sometimes I'll answer it without a link to anything. But if it's in my realm of expertise and in my world, I just try to help as many people as possible. And that, whether it's an article or a video I have or a blog post or a lead magnet, that content is just the answer to their question. There's no pitch.
Yeah.
And particularly if you behave in like you're just in the comments of somebody's Facebook group, they're not going to kick you out. I never like that where people are like, never post a link or all this stuff. I'm just trying to help people. But typically, nobody gives you a hard time if you're answering somebody's question and there's links involved, usually. So
yeah, that's true. I'm sure you've been to those Facebook groups where it just ends up being like pitches the whole feed and just links to their website or their offer. And I'm just like, leave group.
Right.
So it's a totally different animal when you're actually answering a question someone had and the link that you're sharing is relevant to the question.
Yeah. And if I do actually answer, if the answer is my product, I don't link it. I just name it and let them, if somebody really wants to go find it, they can. So
yeah, that feels authentic. Yeah. Like, okay, I'm not trying to sell you, but if you rabbit hole on this, here's by all means, do that.
Right.
So you also work with memberships. Can you tell me more about that? How can you make a membership or a community work for your business?
Well, for me, I'm kind of in the e-learning online education space. So I see like the course is the fundamental building block. You can bundle courses together inside of a membership. And I like to put the customer or the customer avatar at the center of the business, not your product or you or your business or whatever. So whoever that avatar is at the center of your business, they may need courses, one course, they may need multiple courses, but they also might appreciate some workshops, a newsletter, some live events, even maybe some physical products. And you can bundle all that together in a membership. And community is another thing that a lot of, avatars would benefit from. And I like to build two, one for free and one that costs money. So like for us as a software company, technically we sell memberships in that we sell annual software subscriptions for WordPress plugins. And like I mentioned, I have a free Facebook group with almost 10,000 in it. And that's just a ton of free value. But also in our highest plan, we have a private community, a separate private Facebook community, and also do a weekly live coaching and office hours kind of events community for our top paying customers. So community, I think, is really important. And almost these days, it's becoming more and more important. I heard once that the best subject line to get an email to be opened is "You're not alone."
Really? That is sad.
Yeah. So what does that mean? It means people are looking for belonging, which I get. I mean, I look for belonging. I've got all my different communities of people that I hang out with, from my marketing friends to my gardening friends to my e-learning friends, my WordPress nerd friends. I got all these communities, right? And it's just how the world works. And some are in person, some are online, and some are a hybrid. And sometimes community can be part of the product as well, or part of the membership.
I don't think I valued that community until recently. Like when I've been invited to join communities, I'm like, that's another task. I don't think so. But it has, within the last year or so, I'm like, actually, I really crave that. And there's so much benefit from being part of those, just with networking, and maybe you're on a fit or a discovery call and you're like, then that's not a fit for me, but I can find someone it is a fit for. And you go run to your community and find them. And they've just been so much more beneficial than I ever gave them credit for in the past. I think I was just burnt out. And the idea of one more thing was one more thing that I could not handle.
Well, there's a lot of variability in quality, like you were saying. Like there's some Facebook groups that feel like a pitch fest.
Yeah.
But I am in some Facebook groups that are like super awesome and really supportive. And I've been in some when I was paying for certain kinds of coaching and stuff like that, where I was like, this Facebook group is like the best asset of this entire company.
Yeah.
So yeah, community. And also masterminds, I highly recommend. I'm part of right now probably 3 different masterminds, where you meet with some peers that do similar things. And that's been very valuable.
I agree on those. I'm part of 2, and I learn so much from that. It's also like on the marketing front of that, if you know people who have masterminds, they're always looking for speakers. And that's a great way to get in front of your ideal customer, finding those masterminds that cater to your people.
Yeah, that's a good tip.
Yeah. So how can people find you online and work with you?
You can find me at LifterLMS. LMS stands for Learning Management System. And in terms of social media, I'm the most active on Twitter. So that's just my name, at Chris Badgett. And if you're like podcasts and you like getting into the business of course creation and all the things that go around that, including a lot of marketing stuff, we have a show been running for 9 years on that called LMS Cast.
9 years?
Yeah, over 400 episodes. I've been doing it weekly for a long time.
That is impressive. That's impressive. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. I got some great nuggets about, I love some lead generation conversations. And
thanks for having me, Sarah.
Thank you so much for sticking around, listening to my conversation with Chris about how you can increase your leads through free courses. Now, to hook up with Chris, go to lifterlms.com/course-plan-challenge. And you'll be able to join him there. He also hangs out on Facebook. He has a Facebook group, LifterLMS VIP. And he hangs out on Twitter, and his handle is just Chris Badgett. That's ChrisBadgett. So if you're trying to figure out how to generate more leads for your business, free courses could be a good direction for you to go. They help you build that discovery, people discovering you exist in the first place. But more than that, they build trust because you are helping people solve a problem. And there is no better way to build trust with potential customers than to do that, than to help them solve problems. All right, so try out LifterLMS if you're on WordPress. And I have a little homework for you. Scroll on down to the show notes page where you will be able to gain access to the replay of my most recent workshop, which was Craft a Killer Lead Magnet, where you can discover the perfect lead magnet for your business. So you can do that, get that for free. And there's also a special deal that goes with that. So if you do watch that, you are able to get a special deal on a Strategic Spark one-on-one with me, where we can dive into the challenges that you're dealing with every day in your marketing. And I'm going to help you build a strategy and a roadmap to be able to execute that strategy. So you're not left to your own devices to just figure out how to implement someone else's strategy. We do this together. And you get a roadmap where you can work through the execution in-house, or you can hire me and my team to execute it for you. We work in super simple manner. You can hire us for VIP days or intensives for bigger projects. Does it get any easier than that? You know exactly how much you're going to get, how much you need to pay for it, what you're going to get for it. Can we just take a pause at how lovely it would be to be able to get your deliverables done in a day instead of waiting a month or 6 weeks or however long it takes, a day? Or if it's a bigger project and it's an intensive, it's a week. That is all. You're not waiting endlessly for your deliverables. And if you're wondering about pricing, I'm completely transparent with that. You can go to my website, sarahnoelblock.com, and check out the pricing. And if you attend that workshop or watch the replay, you'd also get 50% off of a strategic Spark session, which is a pretty big deal. That is the only way that you can get like a very valuable strategy and execution plan within a 60-minute time frame. I mean, come on. You know you want that. All right, friends, if you enjoyed this episode, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to Apple Podcasts and rate, review this episode. Please get more eyeballs. No, this is a podcast. Get more ears on this podcast. And head on over to sarahnoelblock.com. You can go to /ep-53 for this specific show notes page. And just hang around. Go see my other resources. Any resources mentioned in this episode will be directly on that page. And you can also get that replay for the Lead Magnet Workshop. All the goods are right there. That is /EP-53. All right, beautiful humans. I will talk to you soon and have a wonderful holiday because this is coming out right before Christmas and right before my birthday, Sagittarius season. Woot woot. All right, bye.